I'm not alone in calling the Resident Evil Remake a masterpiece of survival horror, so to properly honor a game of this caliber on its 20th anniversary, I've got something big.
I think you'd better take a look at this.
What is it?
We'll be investigating the biohazard kaitai shinsho, and at 384 pages, it's a lot to sink your teeth into. There are secrets like zombies that cheat death, and it looks like I've finally solved the mystery of Earth Basher. I'll also talk about the stars of the game as we read their unexpectedly in-depth bios and more. So grab a can of fizz. I'm Will from Raccoon City Cinema, and welcome to Resident Evil Remake, Secrets from the Guidebook. There's an incredible 50 secret features. While a lot are obvious and well known, there were a few surprises kept hidden for 20 years. So join me and I'll quickly run through them all. Keep in mind this book is for the GameCube version, but I've included info for the HD remaster as well. Number 1. The hard difficulty is unlocked after completing the game. The HD remaster has the newly added Very Easy mode. You'll also notice the descriptions for the difficulties have been altered. Number 2. Real Survival mode is unlocked by completing the game on normal or hard. This recreates the conditions of the original PlayStation prototype when it was first developed. There's no auto-aim, item boxes aren't connected, and the difficulty is fixed to hard. Number 3. Invisible Enemy mode is unlocked by completing a Real Survival or clearing Chris and Jill's campaign on normal or hard. As you can guess, enemies are invisible and auto-aim doesn't work. You can see enemies from their reflections, using mirrors, or sticking them with a dagger. Yawn will kick up some dust too. It's also strange how this one corpse here disappears. Number 4. One dangerous zombie introduces a zombie strapped with explosives who will chase you down. If you attack it, it'll explode and be game over. The book says it looks like Bravo Team member Forrest and has the abilities of a Crimson Head. After it appears, Forrest's corpse will disappear from the terrace. So they just hint that it's Forrest, but don't confirm it is him. The bomb zombie will replace certain zombies throughout the mansion, like this one behind the cabinet. It's unlocked by clearing both Chris and Jill's campaigns on normal or hard, and can't be turned off. Number 5. In the HD remaster, you can change costumes from the beginning of the game with the added option of the BSAA costumes. But in the original version, you need to get the closet key by completing the game and then change from the closet. Number 6. Clearing the game in a certain time will unlock new weapons. Under 5 hours for Barry's Samurai Edge, and under 3 hours for the Infinite Rocket Launcher. That's only for normal or hard. Number 7. By completing Invisible Zombie mode, you can see a special message by director Shinji Mikami and a collection of unused original art. Number 8. If you press the R button down on the control stick and A button at the same time, you'll do a half downward attack and hit an enemy further away than a regular downward attack. You can do a half upwards attack too, but the chance of a headshot is low. Number 9. Barry's Samurai Edge is capable of shooting a 3-round burst by holding the action button. Actually, you can do this with a normal handgun too. If you press the action button about 0.4 seconds after the first shot, you can fire up to 3 times. If you practice enough, it'll be more reliable than any person. Number 10. Explosive weapons cause splash damage that hits multiple enemies nearby. However, if you open the inventory or move to another room immediately after the hit, you won't deal additional damage. This also happens if a cutscene starts, which is likely to occur during the Plant 42 battle. Number 11. You can shorten the firing animation by releasing the R trigger after shooting and moving. This is most noticeable with the shotgun and grenade launcher. Number 12. Weapons that hit multiple targets like the shotgun and magnum have a fixed number of targets they can hit, a maximum of 3. Number 13. By rapidly pressing the run button, you can move upstairs more quickly. This is of course the speedrunning skill known as stair skating. Number 14. There are 21 places where enemies will appear if certain conditions are met, like walking past a line or getting an item. You can stop some zombies coming through doors by killing them in advance in the other room. Number 15. If you want to wake up a Crimson Head waiting to ambush you, you can try to burn it and it'll jump up without you losing any kerosene. Number 16. If you use a grenade on a zombie and move to another room before the explosion, the enemy will die and the corpse disappear. In that case, nearby enemies won't be damaged by the explosion. Also, if you used a dagger, you won't be able to retrieve it. So it's best to stick around for the fireworks. Number 17. Enemies that cheat death. Attacking an enemy's legs until their HP is 0 will cause them to fall forward. If you leave the room before the animation finishes and then return to the room, the enemy's HP will reset, and they'll act as if nothing happened. Number 18. Destroy both arms on a crimson head, and it'll die instantly. But it's much easier to aim for the head, so I'll take their word for it. Just look at this picture. Number 19. Become immune to Yawn's poison. When you're bitten by Yawn, you can be severely poisoned and only cured with the serum. By using the serum during the Yawn fight, you can't be poisoned again. Of course, to get it, you have to let Richard die. Sorry, Richard.
Ouch!
Number 20. After defeating Plant 42, you can shoot its roots before leaving and it will leak water.
We got to the root of the problem.
Number 21. An enemy that can't fly but is airborne for a split second will not have their HP fall to 0 while it is in the air. You can't knock down Lisa Trevor when she jumps from the step. And if you hit a spider as it falls, you won't be able to kill it until it's on the ground. But this one I couldn't recreate. Number 22, 23, and 24 are 3 cutscenes that will play out differently depending how you enter it. Number 22. Approach Barry from the left or right side of the table.
I think you'd better take a look at this.
What is it?
Blood. Jill, see if you can find any other clues. I'll be examining this. Let's just hope it's not Chris's.
I should also mention the hidden scenes returning to Wesker.
That gunfire. I'm counting on you to investigate, Jill.
Sure thing, Wesker.
Got cold feet already? That's not like you.
Who is it?
You! Freeze! Get away from him, Jill! He's insane! What the hell?
We better report this to Wesker.
If you do this in the original game, it'll give more time for the zombie to eat Kenneth, and you'll find him all torn up. Number 23. When searching for Wesker, you can come down from the stairs or from behind on the left.
Barry.
Any luck, Jill?
No, nothing. What's going on around here? I can't figure it out.
Same here.
Chris, and now Wesker.
There's not much we can do. We can search for him separately. I'll investigate the dining room again.
Okay then, I'll try the door on the other side.
This mansion is gigantic. We could easily get lost. Let's start from the first floor.
Okay.
Oh! I almost forgot. It's a lockpick. You'd make better use of it.
Thanks. I may need it.
Listen, if something happens, let's meet up in this hall. Got it?
Okay.
Number 24. Use the crank 3 times, and the boulder scene will change depending on how you avoid it. There were 2 more scenes I never noticed played out differently. talk to your partner in the cell while the door is locked for this scene.
Chris?
Jill.
Chris? Wesker's the...
I know. I can't open it. Just wait, I'll be back.
Okay.
And then you'll get this reunion after it's
Jill,
unlocked.
Sorry I made you wait.
I knew you'd come.
Let's get out of here.
Or wait till the door is unlocked before first talking to
Jill?
them.
Chris!
You're okay.
Chris, it's Wesker.
I know. But first, let's get out of here.
And the second one is, if you check on Rebecca before leaving the Tyrant room, you get this scene.
Rebecca!
Chris.
It's a good thing you were wearing your bulletproof vest. There's nothing left for us to do here. Let's get moving.
Okay.
But if you try to leave without checking on her, you get this kind of
Chris!
awkward scene.
Rebecca, you're alive!
Yeah.
There's nothing left for us to do here. Let's get moving.
Number 25. There are certain camera angles you can only see once. The angle in the sandwich room, and the first time entering the residence. Speaking of unique angles, don't forget to check the prison cell before escaping. You can see the point of view from the security camera. Number 26. You can catch a sneak peek at Lisa Trevor by heading to the window when you hear her enter. Number 27. Make zombies float by killing them on the stairs in the right spot. Number 28. Too hot for TV. Normally when you die, you'll see your character on screen, but if you get eaten or blown up, well, I guess they can't show that. Number 29. Stay on the title screen and a demo video will play. There are 2 different videos for each of the 2 GameCube discs. Interestingly, the HD remaster also has similar videos, but they've been recreated using the new alternate controls. Number 30. It looks painful, but it's really not. Sometimes a character will react like they're getting hurt, but they're not actually taking any damage. Get too close to a burning corpse? Don't worry. Go on, touch the spinning blades. Just don't get crushed by it. And get your electrical properties without that pesky TG virus. Number 31. Here's all the places that Rebecca can go. Number 32. Normally Rebecca can't pick up items, but there is a way to get her to pick up daggers. Use a dagger as Chris and then destroy the zombie's head. When playing as Rebecca, you can pick it up and equip it. She can even use them too. Number 33. How to return Rebecca to the West storage room. After treating Richard, Rebecca will wait in the storage room. As the game progresses, she'll move to other locations, but you can have her return by doing the following. If Rebecca is in the bar, visit the main hall after getting the gold emblem. Number 34. You can watch Rebecca activate the self-destruct by returning to the power room. Number 35. When playing as Jill, there is a way to read the entire researcher's will, which is usually torn and incomplete. After meeting Barry on the 2nd floor terrace, immediately go to the researcher's private room. Note that seeing Forrest's corpse is essential for reading the full letter. To see Barry on the 2nd floor, you'll need to get the dog whistle and avoid the Jill sandwich scene, or you'll get this one instead, and Barry won't be there. Number 36. How to stop the in-game timer. During timed events like getting Richard the serum, the timer will be stopped basically any time the player isn't in control of the character. So the status screen, moving between rooms, ladders, elevators, and event scenes. Number 37. How deep can you go into the monster plant? Try to walk into the monster plant and you'll be whipped back, but walk backwards and you'll be pushed in. This is the closest you can get because there's an invisible wall. The vines take away your health, but they don't kill you. Number 38. The VJolt file says that you may create toxic gas, but there's only 2 combinations that make the gas, so it's actually a little difficult. Number 39, the most careless way to die. Normally the wall is stopped by the stone statue, but if you manage to get on the other side of it and try to push it back out, you'll be crushed and suffer the most embarrassing death. Well, that one's on you. Number 40. To get the blue jewel, you don't even need to push the statue off the balcony. Just come back after getting the helmet key, and someone did it for you. Was that you, Barry? Gotta love Barry. Number 41. How to attack the bomb zombie. Any hits on the bomb zombie will result in a game over when it explodes. But there is a way to attack it, if you can get another enemy to hit it. Number 42. The playing manual will automatically update as you progress and pick up items. Number 43. There's what appears to be a cameo from Resident Evil 2's Tofu if you enter the password from the original game, MOLE, on your second playthrough. The book doesn't say if it's Tofu, and just says the computer speaks with an Osaka accent, where Capcom's headquarters are. Tofu was voiced by programmer Katsutoshi Karatsuma in both the original RE2 and the RE2 remake.
Guess there's no keeping down the Grim Reaper, huh?
Number 44. Turning with more momentum. Normally a quick turn moves you 180 degrees around, but do it when you're hurt and holding a heavy weapon and you'll turn 195 degrees. Number 45. Move quickly through maps by holding down the action button before you approach doors and ladders. Number 46. There are different idle animations or board poses depending on which weapon is equipped. Sadly, Rebecca doesn't get bored. Number 47. Save files have a different color for each game mode. The HD Remaster has 8 save slots compared to the GameCube's 5. Number 48. Loading screen messages are random. Here's the chance you have to get each one. Number 49 tells you what's written on some items, but with the HD Remaster you can clearly read the text for yourself. And I discovered that the smaller text on the serum and the herbicide isn't gibberish, but rather Japanese words written in the English alphabet. Here's my translation. Here's the text if it were written in Japanese. I think it's pretty funny picturing the dev just typing whatever comes to mind, thinking no one's going to read it, until the HD Remaster, that is. The way it's written is a little unusual, so I showed it to my wife without giving her any context, and she said it reads like a high school girl killing time. And of course it got me wondering, what other messages are there? And there it is, right on the back of the herbicide. You did it, Capcom. They slipped in the F-bomb.
It's magnificent.
The text here is really hard to make out. Above that it looks like USA Lords? I can't read the rest though. On the front, the first line appears to say Komanechi, which is Beat Takeshi's trademark move. The next word likely says Gachon, which is another gag. Under that is Antano Skino or Skina chart or something. It's hard to make out the last word. I'm guessing it's a continuation of the comedy bit, although I'm no expert in Japanese comedy from 20 years ago. Then, in English, it says, "This house is danger." Code Veronica mo yoroshiku ne, which can be interpreted as, please buy or play Code Veronica 2, which is a message I fully support.
Got it?
And if that wasn't enough reason to like and subscribe, I have a theory for what Earth Basher means. We know now the text isn't gibberish, and if you type out Basher in Japanese, it would look like this, Basha, which is really close to Bashan, meaning a splashing noise. You know, after dropping something in water. Yeah, like that. I'm guessing the final N was dropped so it looks more English. I can't say for certain, but either way, you've got a cool piece of trivia to stump all your friends with, and something to spice up your Tinder profile. On a side note, I do like how the brand of disc is Parasol, which the author guesses is a subsidiary of Umbrella. Speaking of text, there's the well-known tombstone with Greek lettering, which apparently phonetically spells out Capcom. In the HD Remaster, the text isn't legible, but it's much clearer in the Crimson Head Elder room.
You did a fine job.
And finally, number 50. Each costume has a unique results screen, and I'll let you find them all. The results screens from the HD Remaster include more information than the original, which only had time. Moving on from the secrets, The guide lays out a lot of technical details too. Something interesting about healing is that there's a 50% chance of restoring additional health when using a healing item while in danger. Normally a green herb will restore 25%, but when used while in danger, there's a 50-50 chance of restoring 40% of your HP. Same with 2 greens and a blue will normally restore 60%, but that can go up to 80%. It's a cool little risk-reward mechanic. Here is the walk and run speeds for each character. Chris is faster and suffers less of a damage penalty. Each character has a different chance to land a critical hit. Chris is from 8 to 32 shots. Jill and Rebecca are from 17 to 25. And something interesting I saw from the speedrunner Carcinogen SDA is that the shotgun's first shot can always decapitate a zombie. Remake introduced defensive items that can be used to avoid taking damage if attacked from the front. The dagger lowers enemy health by a maximum of 50%. The grenade will explode randomly between 3 to 5 seconds and do 500 damage. Chris can be hurt too. The stun gun will take 70 to 90% of enemy health. Characters vary slightly in their weapon timing too. Chris is generally faster. The number of hit points for each character is different too. Fire damage deals 1% in 0.08 seconds. Poison takes 1 hit point every 0.6 seconds.
Poison.
Speaking of status conditions, if you look into the game files, you can see an unused condition called Panic. Now, which one of these beloved characters shall we start with?
Jill, ladies first.
You got it. Jill Valentine. The only female member of STAR's Alpha Team, Jill has experienced the training course of the US Army Delta Force in the Counterterrorism Unit. She's an explosives disposal expert and has a general knowledge of chemicals. You can see her reasons for enlisting from her words, "I can't forgive the evil that threatens the citizens." She has a very strong sense of justice and responsibility and doesn't hesitate to question what she feels is absurd. Even if rejected, she will persistently dig to find the truth. Although she has a rather impulsive temperament, she's calm during missions and has saved her teammates countless times with her precise judgments. She doesn't complain in emergencies, so she's often regarded as strong, but a small part of her seems to be pretending. In a strange enclosed space, Jill faces a series of tragedies and skillfully uses even heavy weapons to overcome difficulties one after another. When you see her vivid way of fighting, you won't feel she's weak. You may want to describe her as a woman who is stronger than a man, but that perception doesn't really capture her essence. Witnessing the horrific death of her companion, showing fear when a zombie suddenly attacks, and the anxiety that arises from the mysterious acts of her allies, in these moments of weakness, she shows her true self. That is an integral part of Jill Valentine's appeal. Her hands are dexterous, and she can quickly open simple locks with a lockpick. Her hobby is playing the piano, and she can play Moonlight Sonata at a glance with the musical score. She has pads on both shoulders that are a little too heavy for a delicate body. The suspenders support Jill just below the chest, which in turn highlights Jill's style. But really, I read some comments from the designer who said he wanted to secretly emphasize her breasts. Jill is more likely to be in a logistical role rather than on the front lines, but she has no shortage of shooting skills. Her gun of choice is a customized Samurai Edge that features a smaller slide stop than the standard model. Jill's survival knife is smaller and slightly less deadly than Chris's. The grenade launcher is a powerful weapon that more than compensates for Jill's defensive weakness. One of her alternate costumes gets a breakdown too. The normal costume from Resident Evil 3. It's colorful and revealing. Jill has a fresh hairstyle with the beret off. A bright sky blue top fits her body and doesn't interfere with her movements. The off-white cardigan wrapped around the waist heightens the overall impression. A tight skirt accented with piping. It's a chic color, but it's exciting that it's 20 centimeters or more above the knee. And just in case anyone was unsure of how excited they should be, 20 centimeters is about 8 inches. The side pack obtained in the middle of Resident Evil 3 is equipped from the beginning and comes with a storage hook for defensive items. I saved it for last because with something as iconic as Jill's beret, surely we'll learn its backstory. It says, a beret with the STARS medallion is Jill's trademark.
I didn't mean to get you that excited.
Chris Redfield, the one who should be called the ace of STARS Alpha Team.
Chris, you make me proud.
He's unbending and willing to disobey orders for his beliefs. Once a member of the US Air Force, he was discharged due to conflict of opinion with his superiors. He has been close with his teammate Barry since his Air Force days, and the two have worked together on a number of missions with great success.
Barry. Where's Barry?
He boasts a tough body and is unmatched at handling a firearm within STARS.
Chris, take a piece of the action.
He's mentally tough and always gets the job done.
I knew you'd come.
Let's get out of here.
He's a little rough around the edges and doesn't notice the details. He seems to always care about his younger sister, Claire. A strong man who has escaped death on multiple occasions. The battlefield this time is a hall of terrors where devilish acts were carried out without hesitation. Any ordinary person couldn't endure being attacked by creatures one after another. Even if they overcame them, their mind would be gradually seized with fear as they grasp the seriousness of what happened, and their life will be over. However, Chris, who has a fierce flame of justice burning within, never stops. The shreds of truth don't fight in Chris. Instead, it inspires his anger towards evil. This anger to defeat evil fuels his body and drives him to find out the truth. His shooting arm is precision itself. He's got experience winning numerous marksmanship titles. Chris's weapon is a samurai edge custom made for STARS. He requested additional modifications to his, but in the game, he's forced to use the one left by Jill. He's got an old-fashioned military-style haircut that is far from fashionable. It doesn't seem like a popular style with women. But he appears rugged and honest.
Where did they go?
The large survival knife is a favorite from his time in the Air Force. Along with the large case, it is one of Chris's characteristic items. He's got muscular arms that tell us he's passed through many places of death. An armored vest with the STARS logo, it's fitted at the side by string. The color varies depending on the wearer. Thick cotton pants are STARS issued, but only Chris wears knee pads. A new model of STARS uniform, the same one in Code Veronica, but the coloring and vest details are slightly different. The glimpse of the collarbone is fan service to female players. And if that's fan service, what's this? Tell me in the comments. Rebecca Chambers, a new recruit who has just joined STARS that same year and is dispatched on her first mission. She's in charge of Bravo Team's health. It's hard to imagine the youngest member in a military unit being 18 years old and still retaining some childishness. But she's a prodigy who's already completed her bachelor's degree and was selected for STARS due to her outstanding knowledge of chemistry. There are times when it's easy to get swept away by the emotions of a situation, and she still has some anxiety about how to deal with emergencies. The success in her field of specialty is remarkable, and no one in STARS can rival her chemical formulations. Whether or not she can demonstrate her exceptional abilities hidden inside is said to depend upon the support of the veteran team members. Rebecca was suddenly thrown into a harsh survival situation right from her first mission. Given her overwhelming lack of experience, it wouldn't have been strange if she were the first to die, but she wasn't. The first reason for this is that her specialized knowledge of chemistry fits perfectly in this scenario. The mansion was full of medical supplies for pharmaceutical companies, and Rebecca was able to demonstrate her special abilities and immediately mix drugs according to the situation. Meeting up with the reliable Chris so early on is also another big reason. And for the sake of Chris and the others, ignoring the danger to herself, with innocence and hard work, she puts forth her full effort, and as a result, paved the way for her personal growth. Ultimately, many of these factors make the newcomer Rebecca the only survivor of Bravo Team.
That's my plan, sir.
Utilizing her knowledge of chemicals, she can instantly formulate medicines found locally and use them for treatment and attacks.
Whoa! What is it?
What? Oh! Oh no!
For Chris, who has little knowledge of pharmaceuticals, her talent is a lifesaver.
I'm counting on you.
No problem.
She is familiar with the piano, but her skill is...
What was that?
She has a lovely and innocent face. A clean, boyish haircut suits her well. Rebecca is the only one in Stars to use the samurai edge without further modifications. Her choker is the same color as the first aid mark and gives the overall look harmony. The author wonders, is it fashionable in an emergency? She has a habit of holding her head when she is bored, which is weird because like I said, she doesn't get bored when you're playing as her. Guess it's just when Chris is around. Must be the haircut. A bullet and blade proof vest with an emergency mark on the back that matches her pack. At first glance, it's a casual piece of equipment, but it saves her life in some situations in this incident. A sub pack with an emergency mark worn on the back of her waist. It seems to be her favorite item. Her pants are the same shape as the other members, but they have a lighter atmosphere because they're rolled up. The concept of her special costume is belly button out Western, or Western with navel. The amount of exposed skin enhances the lively atmosphere of Rebecca rather than sex appeal. The rose pink mini scarf has a cowboy knot to match the concept. The abundantly used fringe on the chest is typical Western style. The visible belly button tied from the hem is cute. Silver and turquoise, which is the basis of Western fashion, is used at key points. The boots are semi-long with an embossed pattern. The youthful design gives plenty of space for her legs, which is perfect for Rebecca. Bold micro mini denim pants with the hem cut off. The key point is that the holster is attached to the bare parts of her legs. The finishing touch is the cowgirl hat, which isn't even in the game. Barry Burton, a veteran of Alpha Team with a wealth of firearms knowledge. He comes from SWAT and has been a good buddy to Chris since the old days. He's in charge of maintaining and replenishing the firearms for the team, and in private, he is known as a gun nut.
I like the buddy system we have here.
I see.
He's a good husband and a good father at home, and he loves his two daughters, Moira and Polly. Just as his solid as a rock appearance, he's a dependable man. He has been trusted among team members because he is compassionate, always thinks about his teammates, and has a strong sense of responsibility. He is a hot-blooded man who loves justice, hates evil, and is the perfect person for Stars who protect the safety of the citizens. On this mission to investigate the truth behind the bizarre incident, Barry should have shown more fighting spirit than anyone else, but this time. Shortly before his mission, Barry was worried about a problem. That problem makes Barry, a person who should be more reliable than anyone else, act in suspicious ways, and whose words don't match his actions. A deep love for his family, feelings for his team, and a strong sense of justice. Because he holds these, Barry suffers an emotional dilemma. What on earth could make him act this way? And what path will he finally choose?
There's only one way to find out.
Barry has deeply carved facial features. He often wears a sorrowful look in this game. His buddy is a .44 Magnum, which is recognized by gun nuts like himself. He usually keeps it in a leather holster hanging on his chest. His red vest is his trademark.
Okay.
Barry also has a samurai edge customized to his liking, large caliber and high power. The deep affection he has for his wife can be seen in the fact that he always carries pictures of his family. Barry's face when bragging about his daughters is one of concerned fathers everywhere.
So, the time has come at last.
Albert Wesker, the quiet, calm, and collected captain of Stars. He's also the leader of Alpha Team. He was appointed captain at the recommendation of Umbrella, the largest private sector sponsor when the unit was created.
Can't be serious.
He wasn't originally a police officer, and there is no clue to explore his past, other than his profound knowledge of biotechnology. He's a perfectionist who doesn't make mistakes in any situation, has keen insight and good judgments, and is respected by those around him. He has the dignity and personality suitable for someone at the top. But since he doesn't show any emotion, he leaves a cold and inorganic impression. He's a mysterious man both in his career and his personal life, and always has an inaccessible atmosphere about him. Wesker has a lot of mysteries since being appointed as captain, but his guarded way of thinking didn't leave room for his unit members to make guesses. The disappearance of Bravo Team's helicopter, the brutal death of his subordinate Joseph on this mission, in the face of rapidly increasing despair, he doesn't change his expression and guides his troops to a nearby mansion that seems safe. It seems, as usual, the perfectionist made the most appropriate judgment. No, it was in fact a good decision. In his own words, according to plan.
What? Premature.
No one knows what kind of thoughts are reflected in the glowing eyes behind the sunglasses. His expression is unbreaking in any situation. It's
Wesker?
extremely difficult to read his feelings, partly because his eyes are hidden by sunglasses.
My words exactly.
Only Wesker wears an open collared shirt, so more fan service, I guess? Even in military-styled attire, what Wesker wears is based in black.
Anyway, we better find
As
a
the
way
captain of Alpha Team, compared to the others, his equipment is a little luxurious. He seems to be using the radio to contact others than Chris and Jill.
My little piggies.
Like Barry, he uses a samurai edge with his own improvements. Although he usually specializes in using his head, his shooting skills are considerable. Okay, Wesker's sunglasses. It's gotta be good. Sunglasses worn day and night are Wesker's trademark. Okay, so you've stuck with me through all that gear talk. Let's see what the book has to say about the kindly named The Others. On Alpha Team, we have Joseph Frost, in charge of maintenance. The bandana on his head is his trademark. He's a cheerful mood maker, but also hot-blooded, combative, and tends to be impulsive. On this mission, while taking the lead searching for Bravo Team, he was ambushed by a group of Cerberus to become the first victim of Alpha Team. Brad Vickers, Chemical Protections Officer. In spite of his position to fight crime, he is cowardly and lacks a sense of mission. He was piloting the helicopter this time, but was afraid when the situation got out of hand and fled alone, creating the situation where Chris and the others had to flee to the mansion. Perhaps because of his conscience, he tries to contact his friends by radio many times afterwards. Poor Brad doesn't even get a face. He has one in RE3. Had one. On Bravo Team, Enrico Marini, a man who also serves as the Deputy Chief of Stars and the Captain of Bravo Team. Since he has a lot of experience and is warm, his subordinates have a strong desire for him to serve as captain. However, with the intentions of the sponsor corporation, Wesker was given the position.
That's unfortunate.
Enrico quickly realized the truth behind the incident and tried to tell someone, but... Kenneth J. Sullivan, the oldest member of STARS. He's a man of few words who appears stern but has a gentle personality. He's performed dangerous missions like reconnaissance and securing positions, so his abilities are undisputed. However, he couldn't cope with this abnormal situation, and immediately after Chris and the others arrived at the mansion, was attacked by a zombie and died. Richard Aiken, a bright and cheerful young man who always smiles. He is highly regarded, not only for his combat skills, but also for communication skills. Known for taking care of those around him, and partly due to being close in age, he was left to support the rookie, Rebecca. In the mansion, he reunites with Chris and the others in a dying state after being bitten by the large snake, Yawn. Richard is voiced by Joe White, who was also the voice of Chris. And this.
Resident Evil.
Forrest Speyer, in charge of maintenance. He has been friends with Chris and Jill since before he joined the unit. He takes great pride in his mission and has earned a great deal of trust from his peers for his perfect work. Along with Chris, he is a master marksman. Although he is unrivaled in dealing with heavy weapons, he was discovered as a horrible corpse on the terrace of the mansion. Edward Dewey, the giant of stars with a helicopter license. His specialty is rifles. He was confirmed to have been dispatched to the forest as a member of Bravo Team, but his whereabouts are unknown. He is probably the prey of monsters, like Joseph and the others. First up, the zombie. Ones who become non-human as a result of genetic structural changes caused by infection from the T-virus. It's called a zombie because it loses its intellect and its skin rots, giving it the appearance of a living corpse. Many of the zombies seen in this incident were unintentionally created by an accidental virus leak, but it appears they are researching in expectation of creating a weapon. They are driven by hunger and they actively come into contact with other living creatures in search of meat. As a result, they can spread the virus efficiently. Not all zombies have the same abilities, and there are several variations. Staff zombies. Researchers and other staff members that were in the mansion and research labs who became zombies. Most of them fall into this category. There are various clothes and physiques, but there is no difference in attack and hit points. This one even has a name, Chris Dickerson. Graveyard zombies. Zombies appearing in the 2 graveyards. There are 2 types, lean and obese. Both have the same abilities as staff zombies, except they do not become Crimson Heads when defeated. Naked zombies. Zombies appearing in the private room of the research lab and the T-shaped corridor. They aren't wearing any clothes and their skin is a strange yellowish color. Like graveyard zombies, they don't become Crimson Heads. Forest zombie. Appears only on the 2nd floor terrace. It features the same movement and bite of a Crimson Head. It's impossible to destroy any body parts, and it won't become a Crimson Head after death. Bomb zombie. A special forest zombie that will appear in the mansion as a secret. It's strapped with a large number of grenades, and if attacked, a huge explosion will cause game over. Bite. It grabs with both hands and bites the neck 3 times, twice if grabbed from behind. If grabbed from the front, the second bite does no damage. The amount of damage from the first bite is randomly selected from 2 of the 5 numbers. If the character's HP is less than half, damage is selected from the red numbers. Damage is halved in easy mode. By quickly shaking the control stick and mashing buttons, you can reduce the number of bites to 1. The guide calls this mechanic lever gotcha, which apparently is a phrase from the arcade days meaning to shake the joystick. So take a memo because I'll keep calling it that. The book says the best way to do the lever gotcha is to turn the control stick and the C-stick. Leg bite. And by the way, these names aren't official, just what I've come up with. Used by crawling zombies and rarely by zombies who have fallen forward. When the character is on top of the zombie's torso, the zombie will grab the leg and bite twice. This attack will not bring your HP to less than 1, so it won't kill you. You can reduce the number of bites to 1 by using the lever gotcha. This attack will always destroy the enemy's head. Gastric acid. When the zombie is on the stairs, at a different height, or lost both of its arms, it will attack by vomiting gastric acid instead of biting. Most zombies when killed will revive as a Crimson Head. If you destroy the head, leg, or both arms, you can prevent their revival. Here are the chances of destroying a body part for each weapon. And of course, you can incinerate the body too. Revival time is determined by a rank based on difficulty and how far you've progressed in the game. Play on hard and quickly collect the keys, and the revival time will be short. If you hit a zombie in the head with a knife, it'll do additional damage. Crimson Head. In a mutant T-virus strain, there exists a type that further alters the host's body, performing the process known as V-Act. Zombies infected with this type will only go dormant, even if fatally wounded, unless their heads or other body parts are destroyed or incinerated. During dormancy, the bodily tissues will be reconstructed. Then, it will be resurrected as a blood-red, more ferocious and agile monster, the Crimson Head. Using their newly acquired claws, as sharp as blades, they attack their enemies with agility unmatched before reawakening. There's a tendency for Crimson Heads to approach with a bite or slash, so even with a handgun you can dodge to the side and attack it. It gets difficult if there's not enough space. It's best to wait with a shotgun pointed up. The Crimson Head will not revive if defeated. If a zombie gets in the way of the Crimson Head, it will often slash them, but it doesn't do any damage. And I really wish I knew that before spending 30 minutes trying to kill it. Except for the legs, you can destroy other body parts. The bite attack is the same as a normal zombie. Slash. It winds up and swings its left or right arms to the side. When you are in close proximity, the attack gets faster because it doesn't pull back its arm. Cerberus, a battle-ready bioorganic weapon created by administering the T-virus to the Doberman, a well-known breed suitable for military use. The code name is MA-39. These guard dogs of hell are one side of the bizarre incidents that led Chris and the others to the Mansion of Death. Like zombies, their skin is severely decomposed, but their running ability and durability have been drastically enhanced. Aggressiveness, a characteristic of the base organism, has also been increased. Their habit of forming packs remains intact, and when they find their prey, they attack in waves and go in for the kill. It's difficult to stop an incoming Cerberus with a handgun, so use a shotgun to attack from a close range. When fighting with a handgun, be prepared to take damage and attack from as far away as possible. Bite. It bites into the character's arm. After it bites, it continues to pull. If there's a height difference, like one character's higher on the stairs, this attack can't be used. Cerberus will pull 6 times and then release. You can use the lever gotcha to be pulled only 2 or 3 times. Kick. It jumps and kicks with its back legs. However, if the character and dog are facing each other when they make contact, the attack can change to a knockdown. Knockdown. The character won't be damaged, but if you don't do anything after 8 seconds, it will result in instant death after being bitten in the throat. You can stop it by using lever gotcha or using a defensive item. The Cerberus that appears with the dog collar has a different hit point range from a normal Cerberus, between 900 to 1300 hit points. Monster plant. A plant cultivated in the greenhouse of the mansion that absorbed water contaminated with the T-virus and mutated. Due to the influence of the T-virus, each part is enlarged and the hardened outer skin nullifies all impact. Furthermore, it's aggressive like a beast, and when it senses a creature approaching, it tries to eliminate it by waving its tentacles formed from leaves and stems, as if it has a will of its own. Although it is only a plant and cannot walk independently, if its pollen were to be dispersed, the scale of the viral contamination would be immeasurable. The only way to kill it is with the herbicide. Just imagine how devastating it would be if that got out. It would lead to
Complete global saturation.
Hit. It swings its vines to the side like a tentacle. If you are hit, your HP won't go lower than 1, so it can't kill you. Crow. A wild crow infected by the virus after pecking the flesh of a T-virus victim. Outwardly not much different than a normal crow living in Raccoon Forest, but they have become so aggressive they will attack any living creature without regard, and their abnormality can be seen from the fact that they are completely unmoved by the sounds of gunshots. Although their creation was an irregularity, the risk of secondary infection of the T-virus was anticipated by the laboratory, and it's possible the spread of viral contamination by these creatures was calculated. At first, it only stops at a specific place, but if you approach or shoot at it, it will fly around and use a peck attack. Basically, it should be left alone. If you don't slow down, you are unlikely to be attacked. If you want to defeat it, use the handgun or shotgun and attack upwards, while using the targeting button. Peck. It descends diagonally and attacks with its beak 3 times. With lever gotcha, you can shake it off before you take any damage. Adder. A small poisonous snake, commonly called an adder, was mutated by a secondary infection of the T-virus and has increased aggression. Their fertility is abnormal, and their numbers are exploding. Reddish-brown mutants with a more powerful venom have begun to appear. They prefer to live near water, and when they sense the body heat of a living creature, they swarm and attack from high places. Their bites carry the risk of spreading the T-virus in addition to their natural hemorrhagic poison. They appear unexpectedly, mainly from overhead or the left or right side of a path. After appearing, they slither up to you and attack with their bite. Adders will keep respawning, so it's best to just run by them. If you are to attack, the book recommends a shotgun, so you can hit multiple targets at once. If you look closely at the adder's skin, you'll notice there are green ones and red ones. The red ones have a higher risk of attack. The color of the adder is determined by its placement. For example, the adder closest to the ladder is always red. Bite. It bites with a small jump. The green adder has about a 6% chance of poisoning, but if you're bitten repeatedly by the same snake, the probability will increase little by little. If you're bitten by a red adder, there's a 100% certainty of becoming poisoned. Coiled strike. When you get into striking range, the snake will jump from its coiled position and bite. Leg constrict. Only used by green adders, it doesn't do any damage and only slows you down shortly. You can free yourself quickly. If you run through the map quickly, you won't be attacked, but there is one exception. Hidden to the left and right are several adders, and you will definitely be damaged if you get too close to the sides. Web spinner, an experimental BOW from the initial research stage based on an insect. The development name web spinner captures the characteristics of the spider it's based on, but the monstrous creature itself, perhaps due to the influence of the virus, cannot make webs and hunts directly with its strong venom. Although its ability as a combat weapon is low, it was considered useful as a vector weapon due to the unique mobility of spiders to move along walls and ceilings that make it possible to spread the virus to various locations. At first, they're often on a wall or ceiling, and when they discover you, they'll drop down to the floor. When on the floor, they don't move much, and often use a poison spray or hit attack. If the web spinner is on the wall or ceiling, you can leave it alone, but if it's on the floor, it may block your path, so it's safer to shoot it from a distance with a shotgun. By the way, by doing so, you may shoot off a limb, but it doesn't change its performance. When a web spinner is defeated by destroying its abdomen, baby spiders may emerge from its body. Baby spiders do not attack and can only be defeated by stepping on them. If baby spiders crawl out of a web spinner, it won't leak poisonous fluids from the body. Baby spiders may appear from the body of the black tiger too. Poison spray. A web spinner on the floor or wall will pull back its head a little and then send an oozy liquid from its mouth. A web spinner on the ceiling will spray the ooze directly downwards. If you are hit, there's a 50% chance that you will be poisoned. Body check. With its front legs raised, it runs and collides with the character. The attack doesn't finish until they hit the character or run a considerable distance. When attacking with the knife, handgun, or flame rounds, there's a high chance of bursting the abdomen. The belly spurts poisonous liquid for some time, and if you touch it, there's a 50% chance of being poisoned. This attack will not reduce HP below 1. Wasps. A bee that has been secondarily infected by preying on insects affected by the virus. The effects of the virus are manifested in the enormous size, but the real fear lies in the potential for explosive spread of virus by mass outbreaks. Already they are actively breeding in the corner of the dormitory, and as soon as they find an organism near the nest, they attack with the needle in their tail, injecting the T-virus and venom. In addition, there are also individuals with abnormal thorns and increased killing power. There are actually 2 additional types of wasps besides the normal ones. The first being huge wasps. Their body is twice the size and they live in the dormitory gallery. The other type has a lot of hit points, in fact, double, and they are in the researcher's private room. There is only one attack, but each type is different. Sting, stabbing with a poison needle. The damage and probability of being poisoned depends on the type of wasp. When this attack lands, other nearby wasps also gather to sting one after another. Use the lever gotcha to shake off surrounding wasps and prevent further stings. The normal wasp does 25 damage with a 25% chance of causing poison. The high hit point wasp does 100 damage but can't poison you. The huge wasp does 200 damage with a 25% chance of causing poison, but this is the only wasp that can actually kill you. The other 2 can't reduce health below 1 hit point. If there's only one enemy, you can easily defeat it with a handgun. And if you're attacked by a group, you can use a shotgun. However, if you run around, they won't be able to sting you. A new wasp appears every time you defeat one, so it's a waste of ammunition to attack. For the time being, if you kill one using the knife or handgun, don't step on the body. You can reduce the number of wasps that will appear. Hunter. a combat-type BOW created by adding genetic information of other organisms to humans whose genetic structure has been changed by the administration of the T-virus. Its codename is MA-121. It was developed based on the concept of creating a lifeform that can counter the antiviral equipment of the enemy. It can understand simple commands with the intelligence to carry them out. Characterized by its incredible agility and leaping ability, its appearance as it approaches the target at high speeds to reliably reap its life makes it deserving of the name Hunter. Its body resembles that of a reptile, and it's physiologically repulsive to those who see it. Some hunters have a green skin and some have red. For example, on normal difficulty, a green hunter will appear on the first floor and a red one will appear on the second floor. The difference is more than just color. Upper left-hand swipe. It swings its left hand quickly from left to right. Right hand lower swipe. It aims at the character's leg and scratches with its right hand. When the attack lands, it staggers the player for nearly 2 seconds and the hunter may continue with the Headhunter attack. Headhunter, an attack that may be used immediately after the right hand lower swipe or when the player's HP is less than a certain value. After letting out a loud growl, the hunter will make a low jump forward and swing its right hand. When this attack lands, it's game over. The condition for using Headhunter differs depending on the color of the hunter. Green hunters will use it if your HP is less than 700, and red hunters will do it when less than 900. The Headhunter used immediately after right hand lower swipe is used regardless of your remaining hit points. Right hand upper swipe. The hunter swings its left and right hands once. If you stab a hunter with a dagger, it may blindly do this afterwards. Jump attack. After jumping, it will swing its left hand down during descent. If it makes contact while facing the player, it will change to a jump grab attack. If there is a wall or door at a distance in front of the hunter, or if the hunter has a dagger stuck in it, it will not use this attack. If you try to outrun the hunter, it will quickly catch up and attack, so defeat it in a situation where you can't escape. You can deal with it fairly easily with a shotgun. The grenade launcher, specifically the acid rounds or the magnum, will be able to take care of it in 1 or 2 shots. If a hunter runs from a distance on a flat plane, such as a corridor, you can avoid it by dodging to the left. If you hear the long roar before the Headhunter attack, avoid it or do damage to stop the attack. Chimera, a human-based BOW, was born from an insane experiment in which a fly gene was incorporated into the base organism, and the 2 species were forcibly fused using the mutation characteristics of the T-virus. The name comes from the synthetic beast Chimera that appears in Greek mythology. Although it is basically a humanoid, it retains the characteristics of a fly in many places. With a body full of countless maggots, and the bizarre noises it makes as it crawls relentlessly towards you is nothing short of hideous. It is as intelligent as a fly, and although it can only make monotonous attacks, the psychological damage it inflicts on enemies is immeasurable. Vertical claw attack is only used when standing on its hind legs. It swings down its right forefoot. Horizontal claw attack, used only when on all fours. It swings its right leg sideways. Suspend from ceiling. Used by chimeras on the ceiling. It swings down the right front leg and lifts up the character. It doesn't do any damage, but if you don't react, you will be killed after about 6 seconds. You can prevent it by using lever gotcha or an emergency item. When passing through a specific place, they often crawl out of a vent. Chimera attacks can be avoided by running. When you want to defeat one, use a shotgun or grenade launcher to stop it in its tracks. When the Chimera is crawling towards you on all fours, it's easy to miss when aiming horizontally, so aim downwards. Unless you're in a situation where you're about to be attacked, it's okay to leave it alone. Even when it's in front of you, it can be easily dodged. Shooting a Chimera attacking from a ceiling, or using the stun gun, will cause an additional 200 damage. Yawn, a poisonous snake which was the subject of BOW development, escaped from the laboratory and was further affected by the leaked T-virus. It grew abnormally to an unimaginable size. The overall length is short for its thickness. and the unbalanced impression is undeniable. Its fangs are equipped with a deadly poison that cannot be cured by ordinary antidotes, and if the victim is not treated promptly and appropriately, they will die within a few minutes. The name Yawn is thought to be derived from the way it opens its large jaws to engulf its prey. It slithers around the room and mainly uses bite. You will fight Yawn twice, and it's recommended to equip weapons other than the knife. With a grenade launcher, specifically the acid rounds, you can defeat it in 3 to 4 hits. You don't have to defeat Yawn the first time, so you can get the item and leave. Sorry, Richard.
No!
Bite. It bites toward the front. When Yawn lifts its head, it may bite to the side. When you are hit in the first battle, you will be poisoned and can only be cured with the serum. Wrap and swallow. Used very rarely when the following conditions are met. It wraps around the character and bites. There is no way to escape this attack and will end in game over. They weren't lying when they said this attack is rare. It took me hours to finally trigger it. Knockdown. Used only once during the second battle when you are both on the 3rd floor near the ladder. It bites with a quick movement and drops the character to the 2nd floor. Under the conditions shown here, damage is greatly reduced. Also, during the second battle, you can't kill Yawn until it moves to the 2nd floor. Richard always does 251 damage to Yawn.
Payback time.
Crimson Head Prototype 1. The first Crimson Head, which gave researchers the chance to notice the V-Act process and the existence of the virus that carried it. The type of T-virus that gave rise to the Proto-1 was later cultivated and produced, but it has a much higher vitality and combat abilities than the standard Crimson Heads that were created under its influence. Although it was so violent it would instantly slaughter anyone around it, it was still considered a valuable sample and was sealed away for research someday. Its attack pattern is the same as a normal Crimson Head, but it has 2,000 more hit points. You can use the shotgun to stand and shoot at it, but you'll likely take damage because it won't be staggered. Lisa Trevor, an experimental subject administered with a mutant form of the progenitor virus, which was the basis of the T-virus. She is a rare being who has been imprisoned for about 30 years since the start of the T-virus project and has survived while being subjected to human experimentation. As a result of being subjected to all kinds of experimental viruses over a long period of time, she has acquired the property of being invulnerable, which led to the new G-virus. Because of her eccentric behavior of peeling and wearing human skin, she was supposed to have been discarded after the virus sample was extracted, but she still roams the vicinity of the mansion wearing restraints. Even if you get her health to 0, she will revive in about 11 seconds. In the altar room, you can defeat Lisa by pushing the 4 stones off the edge, or there is a special way to get her health to 0. Normally her hit points can't be reduced while she's walking around, but if you stagger her while her back is to the edge, she will fall off and hang on the ledge. This is the only time you can lower her health to 0. Use the magnum or shotgun and aim down over the ledge. Left and right hit. She swings her arms from right to slightly upper left or vice versa. Turning hit. She swings her arms from left or right and turns around. This attack reaches a wide area. Upper hit. She swings her arm diagonally from lower right or lower left. The attack reaches a fairly wide area. Hit from top to bottom. After slowly swinging her arm up, she steps forward and swings down. Tentacles. An attack used only in the altar. She quickly extends tentacles growing from the back. As I mentioned earlier, there's a piece of concept art for some unused belongings of Lisa Trevor that further highlights her twisted and tragic backstory. There are 2 towers. Type 1 is covered with a cloth, and when examined, it zooms in with the cloth pulled open, which it says you will regret. You'll reveal a sculpture made of human faces and hair ripped from people who got lost. It has accumulated over the years and become like a tower. Type 2 is almost invisible due to the darkness and backlight, but when examined, we'll zoom in to show the details. You will be shocked to see it so closely. A table of relics. Each seat has teeth, hair, and some of the victim's belongings. For some reason, the skull and other bones have been thrown away, and each tooth has been carefully pulled out one by one. You'll get the feeling that Lisa dismantled and made them participate at the dining table out of loneliness. Lisa's cupboard. A case Lisa is displaying the faces that she ripped off of people who got lost. Originally a cupboard, the drawers are stuffed with hair. The faces look like pizza dough before being cooked. Speaking of the Trevor family, the background picture used for George Trevor's diary actually has lines from the researcher's letter, you know, from John to Ada Wong. Neptune, a BOW based on a shark. The code name is FI-03. Normally, aquatic-type biological weapons are said to have low military effectiveness, but the intention of Neptune's development wasn't to get results as a weapon, but whether the T-virus can be adapted to genes other than those of terrestrial organisms. In addition to one huge shark that far surpasses a regular one, there are two smaller sharks that appear to be in the process of growing. The adult, as the name King of the Sea suggests, is invincible in the water, but nearly powerless on land. If you want to defeat the smaller sharks, equip a weapon that can be aimed down. The book recommends attacking from these two areas. There are two types of Neptune, a large and medium, with different body sizes, HP values, behavior pattern, and jumping bite damage. You also can't damage the big Neptune. Jumping bite. It jumps out of the water and bites. In the case of the big Neptune, it is only used when the BGM is playing and its figure isn't reflected in the water. When the attack hits, the player will die instantly. Each time you kill a smaller Neptune, the large one will use this attack at shorter intervals. Leg bite, used only by the medium Neptune. It bites into the leg 4 times. With lever gotcha, it's possible to reduce the number of bites to 1. After draining the water, the medium-sized Neptune will die with just 1 damage. It's possible to defeat the big Neptune after being exposed, but since you don't need a weapon to kill it, it's not necessary. Plant 42, a monster plant identified at Observation Point 42. It's an abnormally growing version of a monster plant, so to speak. Although it was created accidentally as a byproduct of the T-virus leak, its ecology, beyond the realm of common sense, has attracted the interest of researchers who have been conducting detailed observations. The plant has grown so large that it has penetrated 2 levels of the dormitory, and its tentacle-like tendrils are spread all over the building to catch prey and suck its blood to obtain nutrients. It seems to have a certain level of intelligence, and it devises ways to defend itself and eliminate foreign enemies without fail. It's fixed as it grows from the ceiling and attacks with tentacles. The part of the body that corresponds to the pistil of the flower is the main body, and you can attack there. If the petals are closed, the amount of damage will be dramatically reduced. Effective weapons are the grenade launcher and self-defense gun, but the handgun is sufficient for fighting it. Attack horizontally from point A, or an upward attack from point B. Here you can only be attacked by pollen, and you can use the lever gotcha to only take 30 damage. At first the petals are closed, so every odd time you hear the sound of the petals moving, it will be opened. If you attack with the shotgun, this position is ideal. Otherwise, the damage will decrease due to the distance. Acid from the body. When the flower petals open, a large amount of acidic digestive juice will fall directly below. Until the petals close, the juice will drip intermittently from the tip of the petal. When the petals are open, this attack does 250 damage, and 80 when dripped from the tip. Acid from the tentacles. It sprinkles acid from tentacles that have a bud-shaped tip. This attack changes depending on whether the character is on the first or second floor. Hit. Hit with a tentacle that has a thorn-shaped tip. Knockdown, an attack that will drop the player to the first floor. Throw, an attack used when on the first floor. It will grab the character, swing it around, and slam it to the ground. Bud Pollen, used if you are near the bud in various places around the room. Pollen will blow from the buds. Normally this attack does 60, but you can use the lever gotcha and only take 30. Choke, used by the tentacles of Plant 42 hidden under the floorboards in the corridor. Usually it does 200 damage, but you can reduce that to 40 with lever gotcha. This attack will not reduce health below 1 hit point. If you kill Plant 42 or use V-Jolt, the tentacle will disappear. Use V-Jolt as Chris to lower Plant 42's health by half with 2 fewer tentacles. Use V-Jolt as Jill and you won't have to fight it. Well, you gotta love Barry. Black Tiger. One of the discarded web spinners spontaneously mutated, resulting in a significant increase in size, vitality, aggression, and everything else. It isn't known why this individual has undergone these changes. It's easily distinguished from a web spinner by its huge body and by its blackish color. It may have reverted to its ancestral species, and like the original spider, it hunts by producing webs from its spinning glands, which it used to ensnare researchers. Black Tiger's web can be cut with the knife, grenade launcher, flamethrower, infinite rocket launcher, and interestingly, Black Tiger's acid attack. Venom Spit. Mainly used after shaking its abdomen. It will spray a large volume of venom from its mouth, and if hit, there's a 50% chance of causing poison. Body Blow. With its front legs raised, it will rush forward and collide. If you are hit, you will fall down. Turning Body Hit. When diagonal to the front of Black Tiger, it will swing its legs to the side and knock the character away and down. Its abdomen will burst under the same conditions as a web spinner. Tyrant, created by the Arklay Laboratory, the adult male-based ultimate life form. The code number is T002. The development of a combat-focused BOW was tentatively completed with its birth, and keeping the official name of the administered virus, T, was given the name Tyrant. Outstanding physical ability and high in intelligence, capable of carrying out commands, was completed by this design. It was planned to be commercialized after the final check was completed through a practical test against veteran soldiers. Swing. It swings its left hand to the right. Continuous Claw Attack. It swings its left hand from right to left. If your hit points are less than 100, the torso will be pierced for instant death. Thrust. Mainly used when the distance between the character and Tyrant is a little far. Barry's 44 Magnum in Jill's scenario will defeat the Tyrant in one hit without having to run away.
No, Barry! You viral cultured freak!
Super Tyrant. Tyrant, whose limiter had been released due to a life-threatening situation. In addition to external differences, such as the reddish color, dramatic internal changes have occurred within the body, agility, and attack power, all far exceeding conventional values. Although it was in an irregular state, its ability as a weapon increased dramatically, so in that sense, this form may be the ideal Tyrant that the developers were striving for. It appears when your companion character is alive and present, Rebecca or Barry, depending on your game. It will target your companion and use various attacks. Since allies don't avoid it, if left unchecked, it will take their HP. Hit it a few times to attract its attention and save your allies. Super Tyrant cannot be defeated even if its HP is set to 0, and can only be destroyed with the rocket launcher, or infinite rocket launcher. The rocket launcher will be dropped under the following conditions. Dash attack. After stopping to get ready, or while turning around, it quickly runs up and swings its left hand to the right. When you're hit, you'll be knocked back and fall. If you hit a container or something when you're blown away, you'll take an additional 100 damage. Grab. A grab with its right hand, and lifts a character by the neck. It doesn't do any damage, but if you don't react by mashing buttons after 8 seconds, your torso will be pierced and you'll die instantly. You can use a defensive item, but the Super Tyrant will not be damaged. The swing and continuous claw attack of the Tyrant are the same, but add 100 more damage. Barry does 81 damage to the Super Tyrant, and Rebecca does 21. You got this, Barry? My takeaway from the monster chapter is just how dangerous they are. Imagine aggressive wasps, snakes, and crows spreading the T-virus all over the world, and not to mention the monster plant's pollen. I also really appreciate how much thought and detail the developers put into the creatures, like how the wasps will start swarming when one attacks, and all the different variations. To me, these are some of the most grounded and iconic monsters in the RE series, so it was great to learn so much about them. It's taken months to cover all the information in the Biohazard Kaitai Shinsho, but there were just so many cool little details, and I mean, look at it, it's huge. To me, Remake is timeless, and I still remember my first time playing it back in 2002. I think I spent about 10 minutes in this hallway in awe of its beauty and atmosphere. So as we bring this book to a close, thanks for joining me.